My fiancée demanded I add her name to my $1.6 million house deed or she wouldn't marry me. I canceled the wedding and converted all our deposits into a solo Alaska cruise. I'm a fire captain, been with the department for 18 years. 3 weeks ago, I was planning my wedding to Vanessa, my fiancée of 7 months. We'd been dating for 2 years total. Everything seemed perfect until it wasn't. Some background. I own a lake house that I bought 6 years ago before I even met Vanessa. It's my pride and joy. Took me years of saving and overtime shifts to afford it. The place is worth about $1.6 million now, and I've got maybe $80K left on the mortgage. It's not just an investment, it's where I decompress after rough calls, where I rebuilt my life after my divorce 10 years ago. Vanessa's a luxury real estate agent, does pretty well for herself. We met at a charity event the department was hosting. She was charming, funny, seemed to really get what it meant to be with someone in my line of work. The irregular hours, the stress, all of it. So 3 weeks ago, we were going over some last-minute wedding details. We'd got deposits down on everything: the venue, the band, catering, photographer, videographer. We were talking about $24,500 in non-refundable deposits. The wedding was supposed to be this weekend. Then Vanessa got this look on her face. Real calm, almost too calm. She said, "We need to talk about something important." "I can't go through with the wedding," she said. My heart dropped. I was thinking she was having cold feet or maybe she'd met someone else. I asked her what was wrong, ready to work through whatever it was. "Not until my name is on the deed to the lake house." I just stared at her. This came out of nowhere. We'd never even discussed this. "I need security, Caleb. If something happens to you, I need to know I'm protected. You have 7 days. 7 days. Like she's given this ultimatum before and knows exactly how it works. I tried to be reasonable. I told her we could do a prenup after we're married, update my life insurance to make her the beneficiary, set up a trust. I've got a $2 million policy through the department. She'd be more than taken care of. She cut me off. "A prenup is just a way for you to protect yourself from me. I need to know you're serious about us, about our future. The house needs to have both our names before I walk down that aisle." "That's not how this works," I said. "That's a premarital asset. I bought it before we even met." "Then I guess you're not ready to be a husband." She said it so casually, like she was commenting on the weather. "Here's the thing about my job, you learn real quick how to stay calm in a crisis. You learn how to assess a situation and make decisions fast." And right then, looking at this woman I thought I knew, I realized I was seeing her clearly for the first time. "Okay," I told her. "I understand." She looked surprised, then satisfied. "Good, I'll text you the name of my lawyer. We can have the paperwork done by Friday." That night after she went to bed, I made some calls. First call, the venue. Explained there was a family emergency, needed to cancel. They were sympathetic but firm about the deposit. Then I asked about their cancellation policy for converting deposits to other services. Turns out they have a partnership with a luxury travel company. I could convert the venue deposit to credit for a trip. Second call, the caterer. Same story, same result. They work with the same travel company. Third call, photographer, band, videographer. By 2 a.m., I'd converted every single wedding deposit into travel credits. Then I booked myself a 12-day solo Alaska cruise, upgraded cabin with a balcony. Leaves this Saturday, what would have been our wedding day. Vanessa found out the next morning when the venue called her to confirm the cancellation. She came storming into the kitchen where I was having coffee. "What did you just do?" Her voice was shaking. "I'm making sure everything's secure," I told her. "Isn't that what you wanted?" Her face went white, then red. "You canceled our wedding. You said you couldn't marry me unless I put your name on my house. I'm not putting anyone's name on my house before marriage, so there's nothing to cancel, is there? This is insane. Call them back." "Can't. Everything's already processed." "But don't worry, I'll have plenty of time to think about security and commitment while I'm watching glaciers." She was still standing there, mouth opening and closing like she couldn't figure out what to say. "You wanted to know if I was serious about being a husband," I said. "Turns out I had questions about you being a wife." I left for my shift after that. 12-hour rotation. Gave me time to think. Gave her time to realize I wasn't backing down. I'll be honest, part of me is wondering if I overreacted. But another part of me, the part that's been doing this job long enough to spot danger before it fully materializes, knows I dodged something bad. Update 1. It's been 4 days since my last post. Jesus, what a week. So after I left for my shift that day, Vanessa apparently had a complete meltdown. She called her mother, Diane, who lives about 2 hours away. By the time I got home the next morning, Diane was sitting in my living room, my lake house, where Vanessa doesn't live, by the way. We kept separate places because she said she needed to be in the city for work, and I wanted to stay close to my station. She'd stay over on weekends, kept some clothes here, but her apartment lease doesn't end until next month. This becomes relevant later. Diane is this perfectly put-together woman in her early 60s. Real estate runs in the family, apparently. She sold commercial properties before retiring. She's got this smile that doesn't reach her eyes. "Caleb, honey, can we talk about this situation?" She patted the couch next to her like I'm a child who needs comforting. I was exhausted from my shift. We had 2 structure fires and a vehicle extraction, but I stayed standing. "What situation is that, Diane?" "Vanessa told me about your little tantrum. Now I understand you're stressed about the wedding but canceling everything. That's not how adults handle disagreements." "A tantrum," I repeated. "Is that what we're calling it when someone refuses to be financially manipulated?" Her smile tightened. "My daughter has given you 2 years of her life. The least you can do is show her some commitment. Adding her to the house deed is standard for couples who are getting married. It shows you trust her. Trust is earned, Diane, and your daughter just showed me who she really is. She needs security. She's sacrificing her youth. She's 34, not 24, and I offered multiple ways to provide security. Life insurance, prenup, trusts. She refused all of them. The only thing she wants is her name on property she didn't pay for before we're even married." Diane stood up, and I saw where Vanessa got that cold look. "You need to think very carefully about your next move, Caleb. Vanessa has connections in this state, people who can make things very difficult for you." That's when I know this isn't just about a misunderstanding. This is strategy. Over the next 2 days, it got worse. Diane started calling me directly, alternating between guilt trips and threats. "She gave up opportunities for you. She could have been with someone who appreciated her. Do you know how much younger men would love to be with her?" Then came the voicemail that made me call my lawyer. "We have documentation of Vanessa's contributions to your household. The decorating, the hosting, the emotional labor. That is value. If you don't want to do this the easy way, we can do it the hard way." My lawyer, Tom, is a guy I've known for years. Does estate planning and asset protection. I met with him yesterday. "They're fishing," he said after I played him the voicemail. "They have no legal standing. You're not married, the house was purchased before you even met, and she has her own apartment. But we should be proactive." We spent 3 hours going through everything. He helped me set up a revocable living trust for the lake house, updated my will to make sure all premarital assets stay protected, and documented every single communication where Vanessa or Diane mentioned the house deed requirement. Then Tom pulled up a file on his computer. "I wanted to check something. Did you know Diane Pierce had a lawsuit filed against her 8 years ago?" I didn't. An elderly client alleged Diane convinced him to add her to the deed of his property, claiming it would make estate planning easier. Then she tried to force a sale. It was settled out of court, but the complaint is public record. My blood run cold. So this is a pattern. Can't say for certain, but it's interesting that both mother and daughter work in real estate and both use the same strategy. He drafted a formal letter to both of them, essentially saying, "Stop contacting me about adding names to deeds, stop making threats, and any further harassment will result in legal action." I thought that would be the end of it. Then last night, Vanessa posted on social media. Not tagging me, just a carefully worded post about how some men panic when real commitment is asked of them, and how she's learning that a uniform doesn't make someone a hero. My phone exploded. Mutual friends texting me, colleagues asking if I'm okay. My captain even pulled me aside at the station to ask what was going on. I had a feeling something was off about all this, so I did something I'm not particularly proud of. Vanessa left her iPad at my place months ago and never picked it up. It's connected to her iMessage. I checked it last night. And there's a conversation with someone named M from 3 weeks before the ultimatum. Vanessa, just need to get on the deed before the wedding. After that, if it doesn't work out, I'm protected. M, what if he won't do it, Vanessa? Then I push the timeline. No deed, no wedding. He'll cave. Men always do when you give them an ultimatum. M, and if he actually calls it off, Vanessa, then at least I tried, but I've been with him for 2 years. That has to count for something in court. I screenshotted everything, sent it to Tom. This morning, I got a letter from a law firm I've never heard of. It's on behalf of Diane Pierce, and it's requesting compensation for Vanessa's contributions to the appreciation and maintenance of my property, citing that she cohabitated and contributed to the household. They're actually trying to claim some kind of common law or palimony argument, in a state where that doesn't exist for our situation. Tom called me immediately. This is a shakedown. They know they have no case, but they're hoping you'll settle rather than deal with the hassle. We're going to shut this down hard. I'm sitting here now, looking at this letter, and I realize I didn't overreact. If anything, I didn't react fast enough. The wedding would have been in 17 days. Edit. For those asking about the screenshots, yes, they're backed up in multiple places and my lawyer has copies. Also documenting everything they send me. Someone asked what M stands for. Check the contact. It's Monica, Vanessa's business partner at the real estate agency. A lot of people are suggesting I change my locks. Already done. Also installed a security camera system at the lake house. Tom's advice. Update 2. This is going to be long, but you all need to hear what happened yesterday. I was on shift. We work 48 hours on, 96 hours off when I got a notification from my new security system. Motion detected at the lake house. I pulled up the camera feed on my phone and there were Vanessa and Diane walking up to my front door. I watched them try the keypad. Once, twice, 3 times. Old codes that didn't work anymore. Then Diane started trying to look through windows and Vanessa was on her phone. 20 minutes later, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. It was a sheriff's deputy. Sir, this is Deputy Hudson with County Sheriff's Department. Are you Caleb Warren, owner of the property at he gave my address? Yes, that's me. What's going on? We have 2 women here who claim there's a domestic situation. They say one of them lives here and has been locked out of the residence. My heart was pounding. I was at the station, couldn't leave in the middle of a shift. Deputy, neither of those women live at that address. I live there alone. I can prove ownership and I have them on camera trying to break in. There was a pause. Can you email me that footage? I sent him everything, the last hour of camera footage, plus my property deed, my driver's license showing the address, and the cease and desist letter Tom sent last week. Sit tight, he said. I'll call you back. 30 minutes later, he called again. Mr. Warren, do you know a Diane Pierce? That's my ex-fiancée's mother. Why? Another pause, longer this time. I know Ms. Pierce. She was involved in a situation a few years back. Similar circumstances, claimed she had rights to property. Turned out she was trying to establish residency to claim equity. The case was dropped, but I remember it. Let me talk to my supervisor. An hour went by. I was trying to focus on work, but I was checking my phone every 5 minutes. Finally, Hudson called back. Sir, we've advised both women to leave the property. Your ex-fiancée showed us some photos of herself at the house and some personal items, but we explained that occasional visits don't establish tenancy, especially when she maintains a separate residence. Ms. Pierce, the mother, has no connection to the property at all. Are they gone? They're leaving now, but there's something you should know. Ms. Pierce made some statements about you being controlling and financially abusive. She suggested we do a wellness check, kept pushing that narrative. When we explained we'd already verified ownership and seen the security footage, she changed tactics. Started talking about emotional damages and mental distress. Deputy, I have documentation that they've been harassing me for weeks, trying to force me to add my ex-fiancée to my deed. My lawyer already sent a cease and desist, and they still tried to access my property without permission. I understand. Here's my advice. File for a protective order, today if possible. What they did today could be considered criminal trespass if they try it again. The fact that Ms. Pierce has a history makes this even more concerning. I thanked him and immediately called Tom. He was already drafting the protective order before I finished explaining what happened. "This is exactly what we needed," he said, and I could hear him typing. "They've shown a pattern of harassment, attempted unauthorized access, and now they've involved law enforcement with false claims. We can get a temporary order today, and then we'll have a hearing for a longer-term one." That evening, after my shift ended, I drove home. There was a note tucked into my door frame. It's from Diane, handwritten. "You're making a huge mistake. Vanessa loved you. We can still fix this if you're reasonable. Call me." I photographed it, sent it to Tom, and added it to the file. But then my phone rang. It was Vanessa, and against my better judgment I answered. "Caleb." Her voice was small, broken, the complete opposite of the woman who gave me an ultimatum. "I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Can we please just talk?" "About what, Vanessa?" "About us. About fixing this. I know I made mistakes, I know I pushed too hard, but I love you. I just wanted to feel secure. Is that so wrong?" I should have hung up, but something in me needed to understand. "Vanessa, I offered you security, life insurance, a prenup that protected both of us, a trust. You refused all of it. The only thing you wanted was your name on a deed for property you never contributed to. Why?" Silence on the other end. "And then you and your mother tried to break into my house today. You called the police and lied to them." "We didn't lie. I have things there I just wanted." "You wanted what? To establish residency, to claim some kind of ownership." More silence. Then quieter. "You don't understand how vulnerable I was. Giving up my youth for you, investing my time." "Stop. Just stop. You weren't investing, Vanessa. You were calculating. There's a difference." "What do you want me to say then?" "I want you to answer one question honestly. If putting your name on the house deed was about security and trust, why did you refuse a prenup? A prenup would have protected both of us. Your name on my deed only protects you." She didn't answer for a long time. When she finally spoke, her voice had changed again, harder. "Because a prenup assumes failure. I needed to know you believed in us." "No," I said. "A deed assumes ownership. A prenup assumes partnership. You wanted ownership, not partnership." I heard her inhale, about to respond, but I was done with this conversation. "Don't contact me again, Vanessa. Don't come to my house. Don't send your mother. My lawyer will handle anything else that needs to be said." I hung up. This morning, Tom filed for the protective order. We have a hearing on Friday. He's also sending a formal cease and desist to the law firm that sent the demand letter on Diane's behalf, calling their claims what they are: frivolous and harassing. I know I did the right thing, but right now I'm just tired. Edit. Some of you asked about the security footage. Yes, I have everything saved. My system keeps 30 days of rolling footage, and I've backed up everything from the last 2 weeks. Final update. It's been 3 weeks since my last update. A lot has happened. First, the protective order hearing went exactly as Tom predicted. We showed up with documentation, every text, every voicemail, the security footage, the false police report, everything. Vanessa and Diane's lawyer spent most of the hearing trying to argue that I was the one being unreasonable, that Vanessa had invested emotionally in the relationship and deserved consideration. The judge shut that down fast, granted a 6-month protective order for both of them. No contact, no approaching my property, nothing. Diane looked furious. Vanessa just looked defeated. Diane even tried to approach me right after the hearing, but Vanessa and their lawyer just pulled her away. But here's where it gets interesting and why I'm writing this final update. 2 days after the hearing, I got a call from an old friend, Marcus. He used to work with Vanessa at her real estate agency before moving to a different firm. We weren't super close, but we'd grab beers occasionally. "Man, I need to tell you something," he said. "I've been debating whether to say anything, but after everything I've been hearing, you deserve to know." He met me at a bar near his office. slid his phone across the table. It's a group chat from Vanessa's real estate office. From about 2 months ago. Vanessa, the lake house is perfect. Location, value, everything. Once we're married and I'm on the deed, I can convince him to sell, maybe a year or 2 max. Monica, her business partner, what if he doesn't want to sell? Vanessa, he will. I'll make city life look better, say the commute is killing our relationship. Then we buy something in town, something we choose together. Use his equity as a down payment. Another person, that's cold-blooded. Vanessa, it's business. The lake house is great for him, but it's not building our future. I need to be in the city for work. Besides, he's a firefighter. He'll want to make me happy. Marcus watched me read it. There's more. He scrolled down, more messages, some from weeks before the ultimatum. Vanessa, Mom suggested the deed transfer before marriage. Smart move. If things go south, at least I have claim to half the equity. Monica, prenups exist for a reason. Vanessa, prenups are for when you don't trust your partner. I want him to trust me. Trust means vulnerability. I feel sick reading it. Not because I made the wrong choice, I know I didn't, but because I was this close to legally binding myself to someone who saw me as a business transaction. Why are you showing me this? I asked Marcus. Because you're a good guy who didn't deserve this. And because she's been telling everyone that you're the bad guy, that you panicked about commitment. I couldn't let that stand. I thanked him, sent copies to Tom. Not because I think I'll need them, the protective order is already in place, but because it confirms everything I suspected. The wedding would have been last Saturday. Instead, I was on a cruise ship watching the sun set over Glacier Bay. I know that sounds like something out of a movie, but it's true. I went on the Alaska cruise, the one I'd booked with all those converted deposits. 12 days of no phone calls, no drama, no manipulation. Just mountains and water and silence. I needed it, more than I realized. While I was gone, Tom sent me updates. The law firm that sent the demand letter on Diane's behalf withdrew their claim. Turns out when you threaten a frivolous lawsuit against someone who has a lawyer willing to file for sanctions, things get resolved pretty quickly. Vanessa's been quiet. No more social media posts, no more contact attempts. I heard through the grapevine that the whole situation has affected her reputation in the real estate community. Turns out people who deal in multi-million-dollar properties don't love being associated with someone who tried to manipulate their way onto a deed. I got back yesterday. The lake house feels different now. It's mine again, fully mine, in a way it hasn't felt since I met Vanessa. I'm doing okay now. Better than okay, actually. I've been back at work, picked up some overtime shifts. The guys at the station have been supportive, more than I expected. My captain told me yesterday that he's putting me in for a training position, teaching new recruits. Said I've shown good judgment under pressure. I don't know if he meant about fires or about Vanessa, but I'll take it either way. As for Vanessa and Diane, I haven't heard from them since the protective order. Tom says if they're smart, I never will. The order lasts 6 months, but he's confident we can extend it if needed. I thought I'd feel angrier about all this. About the wasted time, the money spent on deposits, the humiliation of canceled wedding invitations. But mostly I just feel relieved. I dodged something catastrophic. Not a fire you can see and fight, but the kind that starts in the walls and burns everything down from the inside. The lake house is still here. I'm still here. And that's enough. Thanks to everyone who commented and shared their own stories. This community helped me see clearly when I was doubting myself. Peace is expensive, but it's worth every penny.